What's up everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be going over the Season 1 Reloaded patch changes to the weapons specifically. They did not nerf the MTZ Interceptor or the WSP Swarm, but they say that those are going to be adjusted coming pretty soon. So we're just going to go straight into it today. So the Holger 5.56 Assault Rifle got a pretty big buff here. So the body shot damage from 0 out to 33 meters, so it's first damage drop off, got a big old buff from 32 up to 35. And then headshot damage was also increased by 4. In 33 meters plus, no difference there. Before I get into the video, I know this is super random, but I've actually started a golf channel on YouTube, so it's called Zachman Golf. I'll put the link in the description down below, but I'm actually a scratch golfer, and I think I have some interesting things, both data and just videos that I've been making. So this is the first video playing in the background here that I just put up on YouTube yesterday. I'm pretty excited about it. I know it's random, sorry, not COD related, but if you're interested in that, be sure to go check it out and subscribe down below. Taking a quick look at the TTK chart, you can see that the current Holger, the new buffed Holger in red, and then the old Holger in orange, got a significant buff in that first damage range as we just saw, so it has one less shot to kill. So it's going to kill quite a bit faster out in that first damage range out to 33 meters or more if you have attachments. The M13B was one of the few viable weapons from Modern Warfare 2 in Warzone 3, so they've nerfed that in this patch. So it went from 37, 27, 25 in the first damage range down to 34, 25, 23. So about 2 to 3 damage nerf there. In the second damage range, 32 up to 37.5. It went from 35 down to 31 to the head, 26 to the upper torso and lower torso, down to 23, and then 24 on the arm and leg down to 21. So another significant nerf. And then in the last damage range, 38.5 and on. About 4 damage reduction across the body there. So significant nerf. If we look at the TTK chart, you're going to see a trend here. It's been reduced in time to kill, or increased in time to kill significantly out of those longer ranges. So I think it's going to kind of kick it out of the meta. It's still going to be okay up close. But yeah, just a big old nerf to the M13B for long range use. Next up we have the MCW. This got a really big buff as well. This is a really low visual recoil weapon. First damage range 0 to 26 meters. Went from 31, 26, 24 up to 36, 30, 28. So about 4 damage buff and 5 to the head in that first damage range. Second damage range from 27 meters up to 39 meters. About 5 damage across the body again increased. That's huge. That's extremely significant. 38 meters up to 48 meters. Exactly the same as it was before. 48 meters plus. It is the same as before as well. Taking a look at the TTK chart again, you can see that the pre-buff is red, and then the current version is orange here. Basically 1 shot to kill less, all the way out to 39 meters. So it's going to be better up close than it was before, but it's going to be the same out at extreme ranges. So it's really accurate at long ranges, which is going to make it pretty good. But it just doesn't really have competitive time to kill. So we'll just kind of cover the meta at a later time, but I don't think the MCW is going to be in the meta even with this big buff. On to the MTZ-762. This is a battle rifle that's actually very good. It has a lot of recoil, a lot of vertical recoil, but it's pretty accurate if you can control that, and it's had really good time to kill for a while. So it got a little bit of a nerf in this patch. The pre-patch is on the left, and then the new is on the right. So about 4 damage across the body reduced in most shot locations out to 19 meters, and then from 19 up to 45 meters, about 5 damage reduced across the body, and then 47 meters plus, about 3 or 4 damage lower across the body with the new patch values. So let's look at the TTK chart down here. So we can see the pre-patch is red, and then the current is orange. So it cut a pretty big nerf. Used to have really phenomenal time to kill, and now it is much slower out from 20 and on. So really, I think it's going to be kind of kicked out of the meta a little bit with this change. Before we move on from the MTZ-762, I want to talk about it on semi-auto fire mode. It used to have really high damage values on semi-auto. We have this on TGD, so the pre-nerf values are on the left here, and the post-patch values are on the right. It used to do 81, 63, 45. Now it does 75, 58, 42. So again, about a 5 to 6 damage value reduction across the body, out to 19 meters, and then from 19 to 47, about 5 damage reduction again. 47 on is about 4 or 5 damage reduction. So the MTZ Interceptor, or the MTZ-762 on semi-auto fire mode is not going to be nearly as good as it was before. I want to mention the fire rate on TGD is 532. That was the fastest it could possibly be fired when I was testing it. So it's actually going to shoot much slower than that when you actually get it in your hands, because no one can click that fast. Virtually no one can click that fast. So when you look at the time to kill chart, it looks like it is just insane. because of that fire rate being 532. We're going to implement a feature here pretty soon, hopefully, where you can kind of select your actual fire rate with semi-auto weapons, and then we'll have a little click tester on there as well, so you can actually see how fast you can click, and then apply that to the TTK chart for any semi-auto weapon. So that's hopefully coming soon, but I just wanted to mention that. The TTK chart is not really accurate because you're not actually ever going to really hit 532 RPM for these semi-auto weapons. As I'm going through this, guys, I just want to remind you that the absolute best way to support all the work that we put into True Game Data is just a direct subscription through the website. When we have that extra income source that's not dictated by YouTube and the algorithm, I can just make honest content on YouTube. I don't have to try to be sensationalist and try to clickbait things. I can just be honest because I don't need the income from YouTube. So I really, really appreciate all that support that we get. A reminder that we all have native apps now for Android and iOS. Got those live on the stores, and subscriptions are working through those as well. But let's get back into it, and we'll continue talking about the patch notes. All right, on to the Bruen. The Bruen caught a nerf in this patch. It was a pretty solid long-range option. So it went from 43 damage to the head down to 37, so about 6 damage, and then 5 to the neck, chest, upper arm, lower arm, and then 4 from stomach to leg. So pretty significant reduction there in that first damage range. And the damage range also changed a little bit. So post-patch, we got 31.8, used to be 29.7, so a little bit more damage range, but the damage value nerf is much more important than that. 29 meters and on, so 31 meters and on now. Got a little bit of a reduction, just basically like 1 damage across the body reduced. So not a huge change there, but let's look at the TTK chart real fast. Add this in here, scroll down. So pre-patch was red, and now post-patch is orange. So you can see that basically 1 shot to kill extra everywhere with the new values for the Bruen Mark 9s. That's going to make it pretty significantly worse having an extra shot to kill. On to the DG58 LSW. This has been a very consistent and good option for all of Warzone 3 so far. You can see it got a pretty significant nerf in this patch. So the left is pre-nerf, the right is post-nerf. So it went from 46 to the head, 36 neck, 33 chest, down to 40 to the head, 31 to the neck, 29 to the chest, and that is out to 29 meters. It also caught a damage range nerf, so pretty significant changes here to the DG58 LSW. Then from 34 on and 29 on, it caught about a 3 damage nerf, 2 to 3 damage reduction across the body. So very significant nerf. It's going to be completely knocked out of the meta here with those changes, I think. Looking at the TTK chart, you can see how dramatic this difference is. Red is the pre-patch value, orange is the post-patch value. 1 extra shot to kill plus shorter damage range. It's going to be a significant nerf to the DG58. Onto the Pulemyot 762's conversion kit. So this was the bullpup conversion kit. This was a very meta option as well. You can see it used to increase the damage to your arm and neck, as well as increasing the fire rate. So it used to be an increase in damage and an increase in fire rate, which was obviously a significant reduction in time to kill. But now it has been changed, so it is still +1 to the neck, but it's less damage everywhere else. So you can see that it used to be 48 to the head and neck, 44 to the chest and upper arm, and then 40 everywhere else. Now it's 45, so it lost 3 damage to the head and neck, lost 3 damage to the chest, and then 2 damage to the rest of the body. So pretty significant nerf there in the first damage range. That is out to 28 meters, and then from 28 meters and on, 6 damage to the head and neck, 5 damage to the chest and upper arm, and then 5 damage to the rest of the body as well. So pretty significant nerf across the board. Looking at the TTK chart here, you can see basically 1 shot to kill again, like 3 or 4 damage change, made a significant change in the time to kill, as you would expect. So I think this will knock it out of the meta as well. It's just not going to be super competitive anymore, even with that conversion kit. All right, onto the TAQ Eradicator here. It caught a pretty significant nerf. It wasn't super competitive in time to kill before, but it just had such low recoil that you could just beam people, so that's why it was, you know, one of the semi-meta options. So it used to do 39, 36, 33 in the first damage range out to 33 meters. Now it does 33, 30, 28. And then from 33 up to 58, it used to do 36, 33, 30. Now 33 plus, it does 28, 26, 24. And 58.9 plus, it used to do 30, 27, 25. And now obviously 59 plus, as well as 33 plus for the new values. It does 28, 26, 24. So really just a nerf across the board for the TAQ Eradicator. Going down, look at the TTK chart. It's going to be pretty significant here. So pre-nerf, it was in red there. So most important damage range, 33 up to 58. That's probably where, on average, around that distance is where the most engagements happen. Probably like 25 up to 55 is where I would say most engagement happened with the long range weapon. You can see it had a huge nerf in the time to kill there, so it's going to be probably pretty much completely out of the meta. Onto the AMR9 here, it got a pretty significant buff actually. So it used to be 33, 30, 25. Now it is 37, 34, 27 out to 23 meters. Significant buff to the damage values there. From 23 up to 40, it used to be 30, 27, 22. Now it's 32, 29, 24. So about 2 damage increase there in the mid range, and then 40.6 meters and on, about a 2 to 3 damage buff for all shot locations. So looking at the time to kill chart here, you can see that is about 1 shot to kill less with the new buffed orange TTK chart on the left here, and that gets it down to 608 milliseconds. So I think the AMR9 is going to be absolutely a meta contender, if not the meta, for this new Season 1.5 Reloaded. With this update, it seems like they kind of wanted to get all of the Modern Warfare 2 weapons out of the meta. So the ISO 9mm was pretty much the only SMG that was competitive from Modern Warfare 2, and they nerfed it pretty heavily here. So in the first damage range out to 9.4 meters, it was about a 3 to 4 damage reduction, which is significant when you're not doing very much damage per bullet. And then 9.4 to 16.5, about 3 damage reduction again. 16.5 up to 25, about 1 damage reduction. 25.5 up to 34, and then 25.5 and on is now 16, 14, 11, so it's about 1 damage nerf. And then the final damage range is the same at 34 meters plus. So a really significant nerf there to the ISO 9mm. Basically 1 extra shot to kill at almost all ranges except extreme ranges. So it's going to be completely out of the meta. Striker 9 got a little bit of a buff, so in the first damage range out to 10.7 meters, it got about 2 damage increase, so 35, 29, 27 up to 37, 31, 29. That is significant if you notice, because 29 going to 31 is one fewer shots to kill. 10.7 up to 25 or 23.5, about a 2 to 3 damage increase as well. 23.5 up to 35.6 is the same as it was before, but it doesn't have that last drop off now at 35.6. So you're going to get the 23.5 and on TTK everywhere now, whereas before it used to have 1 more drop off. Looking at the time to kill chart down here, you can see this is going to be very competitive now as well. It's down to 630 milliseconds in that first damage range, which is pretty competitive. Anything around 600 tends to be where the meta sits with SMGs currently. So it got 1 fewer shot to kill, and it has 11 meters damage range. And it's just going to be, I think, going to be a very competitive weapon for this season. All right, guys, that is it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. If you liked the video, if you appreciate all the work that we put into getting all these values and building the website and building the apps and testing everything, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, drop a like on the video, comment what you think the meta is going to be for this season. I'm curious. I think currently still the MTZ Interceptor is going to be the best for most people, but I think they will nerf that very, very soon.